Good evening, good evening, good evening. And tonight is Tuesday night, and what do we do on Tuesday nights? It's Urban Sentinel Live. And I'm your host, Reggie Kearney. I'm also the publisher and editor of the Urban Sentinel magazine. And we're just so glad to have you all here with us tonight. And got a lot of topics we're just going to discuss tonight. We're just going to, throw it out there and talk about things that are going on now. Uh, Later on, we're going to have Raven with us, Raven Thistle, and she's a therapist.
Mhm.
Talk about her new book that's coming out, and just get some ideas and some ideas on how to handle grief during the holidays. Okay, we just came out of one holiday, and we're going to go into another holiday.
Interesting you saying that because that was actually the theme of one of the other shows on the network. Because Relationship Soup, which airs on Facebook, and then we re-air it here on Pod TV. That's literally what they were discussing was grieving during the holiday hours and how people cope with it. Everything from
Yeah.
meditation to everything else. But today is winding down, and I know a lot of people are excited. But I know that if you've got the money, and I know that sometimes my money is not the way I would like it to be and everything. That's why I just recently downloaded Rocket so I can do a better job of keeping track of what money I've got or what money I don't have and
Uh-huh.
everything like that. But this is Giving Tuesday, which means a lot of nonprofits were sending out notices trying to give you to give them some money during the holiday seasons. I know I got some from the arts organization that I work for, the Haiti Heritage Center. I think the North Star and a number of
Hmm.
other ones, including national ones and even political ones, were trying to get you to make donations on Giving Tuesday because we had Cyber Monday yesterday, and then we had Giving Tuesday today, which a lot of nonprofits use that as a way to get bolster their support during the holiday months and everything. So I don't know if you sent out any, if you were planning to give to any nonprofits and everything. Because before the show, me and you were talking about how I had this lovely Thanksgiving meal and had some leftovers, and you had mentioned that you had heard that those meals last about 3 days, or some news report said that, and that is definitely my case because as I was telling my mom, and I think she was shocked. She was like, "You ate all of that?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's gone." One or two items that left because, as I told you, she does not just give us the Thanksgiving food, but she allows me and my younger brother and their other relatives, cousins, and people there to raid the cupboards as well. So we get to raid the cupboards because she keeps that very well stocked, as well as the refrigerator, because she actually has a downstairs refrigerator kind of like in the basement area and one upstairs, so we can raid that as well. Even though
Right,
when I tried to kidnap that ham, Mom wasn't having that. She was like, "Mark, where you go with that ham?" I'm like,
right. You better leave that there now.
yeah, she was like, you won't having that. She was not letting me see. She was not letting me slide that ham out of the house. She's like, that's staying here. That's not going with you down to Durham from Rocky Mountain and everything. But
Yeah, she gonna hurt you, man. Messing that the ham, the meat. Now you can get some vegetables. Leave that ham alone, man.
yeah, she's like, no, that's not coming with you and everything. Nice try, but that is not coming with you. Ironically, before Thanksgiving, one of we all have our habits, and one of my habits, and I've talked about it when Raven's been on the show before, is
Uh huh.
procrastination, and all along those lines. And I was procrastinating or delaying my eye exam because they wanted to do a field test. Because as you get older, they want to check for you to see if you got the possibility of glaucoma or cataracts. And I did pass it this time around, even though I've got to have another one in 6 months, ironically near Mom's birthday. But I had
Right.
procrastinated, so I literally had the test on Thanksgiving Eve. So I had that test on
Mhm.
Thanksgiving Eve, and then the next day I caught my brother up to Mom's house and everything. But yeah, Thanksgiving Eve I did go to get my eye exam, and I don't know about you, but I love the medical profession because they do keep us healthy and everything. But at the same time, they're not exactly cheap because just the field test alone, I think, was something like $135. And I'm sitting there going like, I see why optometrists and other people are glad to be in their field because you imagine that if he has, let's say, on average 15 to 20 appointments at $135 a day, that's a pretty good clip of money. I'm not doing the quick math, but that'd be what, 1350 plus
Yeah.
1350. That's $2,700 and that's just for that test. I know that the regular exam is more expensive, so that's like somewhere between $3,000 to $4,000 a day, and that's just with only 20 appointments. And I'm thinking he probably has more than 20 appointments. So I'm going like, yeah, $4,000 a day. That's a good daily income.
Oh yeah, they get you going and coming now. They most definitely do that, but it does help. But the prices that they charge are exorbitant. And that's why you have so many people, especially on the left,
Right.
trying to fight for socialized medicine and stuff,
Mhm.
you know. But see, I think too, if you went to socialized medicine, you probably won't have as many doctors as you have now
Right.
because they can make tons of money. You go to socialized medicine, they're gonna have a set salary, and some of them probably ain't gonna like that set salary. You know, especially young ones coming out of medical school because they got to pay for their education.
Well, one of the other shows that's on our World Politics show, we were talking about the fact that um, I'm trying to get the name of the drug. It's basically like an energy drug, and it's basically speed and everything like that. But you can now get that over the counter without even a prescription.
Hmm.
And it's definitely very popular. And there's a number of those that I know the college kids have used for years because I'm around the corner from Duke and everything, so they've been using that for years and all along those lines. But it's just amazing that you used to have to get a prescription to get some of these things, but it amounts to what speed or meth, and you can just literally get it at your local Walgreens or your local
Yeah,
car drugs or whatever. So that's just crazy that you can get some of these things that have some they give you that boost of energy, and they definitely supposedly help you stay your mind clear and everything. But I'm wondering what impact is it has on your health and everything.
yeah. Well, a lot, I mean, so much stuff becoming legal now. Uh, like the cannabis industry.
Right.
It's become legal, but it seems like it left black folks behind because there's a lot of money being made, but it's about these white corporations. They
Mm-hmm.
jumped in at the beginning, was able to secure their license. We had a big to do here in Maryland because we were trying to make sure, and we had gone to the last governor, and there was kind of an agreement in place that be a set aside for license years ago when it first got started. But when it got started, it was like turn a blind eye and act like nothing had never been discussed.
Yeah.
You
I
know.
hear you. Well, speaking of blind eyes and speaking of that on the political landscape, and I do have a question for you, sports wise, before Raven gets here. But what's going on with all these political things that are going on? Because apparently the Supreme Court is having a battle over transgender rights. So transgender rights is taking center stage at the U.S. Supreme Court, and they're planning to hear arguments
Mhm.
over Tennessee's gender affirming care ban and Trump's pick for the DEA administrator withdrew from consideration. So I guess they said that they didn't want the job and everything. And I even heard that some of the Republicans want more vetting than has been going on and all
Mhm.
along those lines. So definitely that's going on. And I know the Republicans are mad that Hunter Biden got pardoned and everything, but now they're wondering what Hunter Biden's future is and whether that includes writing or maybe he's going to come to Pod TV because they're even saying that podcasting could be in his future as well and everything. But
Yeah.
definitely it'll be interesting because even top house Democrats are calling on Biden to pardon working class Americans. So I guess
Yeah.
they're saying that he should commute all current death sentences to life in prison. And Jeffries, Hakeem
Mhm.
Jeffries, is calling on Biden to pardon more Americans before leaving office. So are we going to see a mass of pardons? And what do you think of this idea of pardoning these folks that are on death row? Because that's apparently something that Hakeem Jeffries wants to do.
Well, I don't think we're going back to your DEA guy. He got himself in trouble during COVID because the law was that you couldn't have church
Right,
services and meet in mass. And what happened was he
right,
arrested the pastor down in Hillsborough County, Florida, for having a gathering at the church, and you know, and this was after he told him a number of times he couldn't open the doors of the church. So people are upset at that. The Magna folks got upset at that because he wasn't acting like one of their own. When he went out and arrested people for breaking the gentleman's law as far as not having services and things of that nature. So he decided with all the hatred going on from the Magna people, it's just let me just keep my low profile, go back to being a sheriff, and just leave it at that.
yeah, but now even the Republicans are concerned about Pete Hedges because apparently his drinking had worried colleagues
Oh,
at
he done had
Fox News, and even the Republicans themselves are saying that they want a greater vetting of him as
one.
well as of Patel and everything. So it does look like they are trying to look like they are concerned about some of the Trump picks and everything. So even
Well, they are. I don't think this guy Pete um, he'll get confirmed for the Pentagon. I mean, you can't go out. It's just like me saying I'm gonna go out and run a medical center, but I don't have no experience as a doctor.
right.
I can push paperwork, but when it comes to pushing patient care, I'm not gonna understand what I need to do. Okay, he can't go out there and just think he got some generals and lieutenants and all this kind of stuff in different branches and people reporting to him that he'll be able to get through. You've got to know about how to operate as a person of a military statute. And he doesn't have that statute. He can't operate on that level. And I think everybody, if you look at everybody who he's picked, they don't have the experience, probably other than Mark Rubio, would be the only one safe bet going into the confirmation hearing as Secretary of State, okay? Mm-hmm. But if it hadn't been Mark Rubio there, he probably would have got a dog catcher to be Secretary of State.
I know somebody that actually is in the House and field, and they said that they had worked with the person that replaced Matt Gaetz, this Bowden woman out of Florida, and they said that she was at one time more moderate maybe than she is now, because they said that they don't even recognize this version of Bowden because they had worked with her on some issues around Florida and other places that dealt with, I think, housing and some other issues in that space. But now she's gone maybe a little more MAGA, which is why
she Magna to the T now.
Oh wow, she's MAGA to the T now. Wow,
yeah, she Magna to the T now. And look, she is that woman is loony, But they said that she's she's very educated. She knows the stuff. She knows the law, but she's in a different space now. That if Trump say go after you, she'll do it.
She's gonna go after folks and things like that because of the fact that
she'll do it.
But speaking of that, apparently Trump wants to. Apparently this just came out like a couple of hours ago, so maybe yesterday. But Trump, in one of his crazy statements, because he loves to say things that are interesting. So he said two interesting statements. One, he said that he is vowing violent action over Hamas, because he definitely said that Gazans should fear the worst and everything, because he definitely said that he warned that they have hell to pay if Hamas doesn't free the hostages before he comes into office on January 20th. And then apparently in a recent conversation, I think this was earlier today, he suggested that, and this would be a very big state, it'd be bigger than California, but he suggested that Canada become the 51st state after Trudeau said tariffs would kill his economy and everything. So I guess Trump is saying, well, don't worry about that. Y'all just need to be the 51st state. And, they are actually a multitude of provinces. So that would be the biggest state of all if Canada became the 51st state, because I know there have been conversations about Puerto Rico becoming the 51st state, and there have been even conversations where you are of DC becoming the 51st state. But it looks like Canada, the entire country of Canada, may be the 51st state if we're going by the logic of Donald Trump, because he says that he might want to annex Canada.
Excuse me. He was just sounding stupid today. That's all that was, okay? He's just sounding stupid. And he does that. I don't know if he's trying to show himself, trying to be the big man, or he just wants to sound stupid, okay? Now, he know no country is going to come along and be the 51st, state. Then he talks about invading Mexico.
Right.
Going down there and trying to get the drug cartel. Okay, go ahead down there like you want to get the drug cartel. Okay? You're going to be in a war. He got this strong arm thing that he think he can just do anything, and doesn't realize he's stuck on stupid. And see, the people he has around him now, they're not going to tell him, Trump, you stuck on stupid right now. They're not going to tell him that.
Well, speaking of being stuck on stupid and all along those lines, what's your take? Because even J. Edgar Hoover's biographer has weighed in on Trump's pick to lead the FBI, because apparently Kash Patel has an enemies list centered on grievance and everything. And we know that in the past, there were people like Hoover that had the whole kind of like civil rights people and the whole COINTELPRO thing. So apparently Patel, even though he's of Indian descent, might have learned from some of our great American, I won't call them heroes, but American
Mm-hmm.
figures like Hoover and even
Mm-hmm.
McCarthy and folks like that. So is he going to do the bidding of Trump, and does he have
Oh
like a
yeah,
hit list? Does he have a hit list out there?
he's going to do it. The hit list is out. I read an article in the Guardian today. It had everybody's name. Now it's more Republicans than Democrats. Okay, here we go again. We stuck on stupid.
Right.
You're going to go back and grab people from 4 years ago. Okay,
Mhm.
stuff that happened in Trump's last administration.
Right.
Okay, you can go back and grab that. Okay, now again, stuck on stupid. William Barr, for example, he's mad at William Barr because during the November to inauguration time frame, I think it was in November of he tried to install Patel as assistant director of the FBI,
Right.
assistant director of the CIA, and a couple other things, and everybody was dead set against it. But Barr said, if you do it, you're going to have to do it on my dead body. So Trump kind of backed off on those, okay? So that's what Patel's mad about. He's mad about that. You know, stuck on stupid again. He said, if, the first day on the 21st, we're going to close the FBI headquarters down and make it a deep state museum. Okay, dumb, you sound stupid. Because where you going to send everybody else to work at? And so I think what you're going to have for 4 years is a lot of upheaval and just damages being done to the federal government. It's just like he wants to cut down, the population of Trump wants to cut down with Musk and his other buddy, I don't know, Rami or Ramanoodles, whatever the guy's name.
Vivek Ramaswamy.
Yeah, Ramaswamy, Swami, whatever his name is, they want to cut government. Here in Maryland, Maryland has 166,000 people employed by the federal government. We're probably one of the states that has the largest concentration.
Maryland
Anything,
and Virginia.
yeah, anything he does is going to hurt Maryland. First thing, he can't take NSA, close it down and move it somewhere else. That would probably cost $50 billion with all the equipment and satellites and antennas they got out there to move that and move all the employees to another location. It's, again, you stuck on stupid.
Well, he's
Okay.
stuck on stupid, but in that same thing, Reginald, everything he's talking about, because if right now we're going through a cold snap. I think it's only supposed to last for about a week or everything. But isn't one of the main hurricane trackers the NOAA or something like that? And he's been talking about closing that down. And like you said, with that situation, that would be closing down not just the major one that I think is up there in the DC, Maryland area, but there's several around the country. So I don't even know how you would manage to close all of these offices down and everything, since they are supposed to be tracking storms, not just here, but around the world and everything. So I'm trying to figure out, what do? Do you convert those? Because I mean, maybe
you don't know what storm's coming. You just wait till the storm get there. I mean, think about back in the day when they didn't have good weather reporting. You wake up the next morning, your farm been blowed over because of a tornado. You heard you heard it coming, but you didn't know it was coming until they got that to your house.
Oh yeah, I mean, even more recently, I have woken up because we just had a blast. I think more in the mountain areas because they usually get hit more than we do, or maybe even down there by Greensboro. But there was some snow flurries yesterday, and of course the ground is too warm, so they didn't really do much damage and everything. But there was a light accumulation in parts of North Carolina and everything. But I do remember there being snowstorms that you did not expect, just like there have been tornadoes that you didn't expect either. Now, I even remember one many years ago that because even when I was growing up and coming up in high school, not so much college, because I went to school in Milwaukee and everything, but you would get the report to see if you were on the list to be closed. And since I lived in Warren County, you had to wait till the end of the report. And then I remember a couple of times going to sleep and then waking up and even asking my parents, I know we ain't got school, but they said we were gonna have snow, and I was planning to go outside and maybe have some snowball fights. And they're like, no, that snow came and gone. So, like I said,
Yeah.
y'all definitely have class tomorrow because that snow it canceled y'all, and now it is gone bye bye. But speaking of stuck on stupid, and coming back to politics, and then I got that sports question I was going to ask you and everything. How much? Well, it's two sports questions, but how much of this stuck on stupid is passing on to other countries? Because apparently France is in trouble and it might be collapsing their government. Martial law just got passed in South Korea, which is supposed to be one of our allies and everything. And even the Philippines is worried about a Russian ship off of their coast and everything. So how much of this stuck on stupid has passed from the United States to being a worldwide problem?
Can you hear me?
Okay,
because my picture is stuck. As long as you can hear me, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Now, check this out. The whole world is kind of stuck on stupid right now because United States at one time was a country that you could depend on for that leadership, okay? We were just like that, okay? Now, because of Trump coming in and liberty torture, we're not racist against Indian people, okay? Patel, he has issues, okay? Going after people you don't need to go after from 4 years ago. That's not being racist. That's just voicing an opinion, okay? Now, so we used to be a country that was looked up to in the world, okay? When Trump came through the first time, he just put everything in disarray, okay? Biden had to come back and develop relationships, okay? Now, what has happened is going forward, these guys cannot trust Trump because he talks about getting out of NATO. He talks about, not helping the NATO countries if they don't put in so much, a percentage of their GDP into supporting NATO and stuff like that. He's too cozy with Russia. Zelensky, he's going around acting like Trump is his friend. Trump ain't your friend because what Trump's suggestion is going to be, let Russia keep the land they got, y'all keep what y'all got, and the war's over. That's his idea, okay? Zelensky wants to maintain and get back what was his.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? It's just, I told somebody the other day, you know how leaders go to different countries visiting and stuff, okay?
Right.
He's not going to get a lot of invitations to come to the country. Nobody's going to want him in that country.
Well, he's going to France. He's going to France this weekend, but he's going to that reopening of Notre Dame. This is going to be
he don't even go to church, so I don't know why he's going over there for that. But now they're having a lot of issues in France right now.
Yeah.
So like they got a version of the Magna Party in France, and the only reason I think he's going over there is just because of that, because the president of France is more of a liberal person, okay? Mm-hmm. But now he got to pay homage to this whatever he is coming out of the United States, okay? And the thing is, anybody can go. He can go wherever he wants to go, but I think he kind of overstepping his boundary. You're not president till January the 20th. And you should just wait and go to France after you had the opportunity to go as president.
That would make more sense to me and everything, but he's not going to do those kind of things. Everything. Before we keep on the politics thing, I'm a happy camper because my team is number 5, even though we've got 2 tough games coming up and everything, because we've got to play Iowa State, and Iowa State is no joke. I think they're number 6 or something like that and everything. So, and right now we're undefeated, meaning Marquette, my alma mater and everything. So Sasha Smart is a amazing coach, and they've had some other good coaches as well, even historically and everything. And we've got some good guards, including that guard from Tennessee and everything. But I'm always worried about, as I was telling my brother, and we did win those 2 games, but when I saw Stonehill and even West Carolina, I know that sometimes you will overlook the smaller opponents because you're looking ahead to the big matchups, and they've got their matchup with Iowa State on tomorrow, and then the matchup with Wisconsin this weekend and everything, and that's a in-state rival for them. So I was a little worried about overlooking these two opponents, and I'll be very happy if we win both games, but I'll be even pleasantly surprised if we split them and everything along those lines. But I don't want to do it Connecticut, because Connecticut was ranked number 2, and now they're like number 25 because they lost like 3 games in a row, and we've also got Dayton, so it's quite possible that we could hit a slide. But as a fan and also an alumni, I'm hoping that doesn't happen. So what's your take on the future of my alma mater? Do we have a shot and everything, or do we have to?
Well, everybody's got a shot. I was looking at the top 25 today, kind of surprised that the schools and how it's showing up right now. I mean, Connecticut lost 3 games over the weekend. They took a big hit. They took Connecticut all the way down to number 25.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought Connecticut would fall to maybe 6 or 7, something like that. But I didn't think, if they lose one more game, they're out of the top 25,
Yep.
And my man, I know he's thinking I should have took that contract with the Lakers for $5 million a year and go ahead and live, But like they said, Connecticut does not have the same team they had last year because he lost some of his key players.
Yep.
So it's going to be hard for him to duplicate what he did. Now, will they be in the Final Four? I don't think so. I think they'll be in the Final 8. They'll pull it around. He's a good coach. He'll pull it around, but you got some good teams out there, man. So it's nothing to say that Marquette couldn't be there in the Final Four.
Yeah, they could be in the Final Four. Duke could be in the Final Four, because Duke actually surprisingly surprised people, because they are not a football school, haven't been a football school for a while, but they will definitely get it won't be the championship bowl with that 12-man team, but they'll get a good bowl this year because they had a winning season in the ACC and surprised a lot of people. But I was just wondering your take on this whole notion of a 12-man college bowl, because this will be the first year where 12 teams will be going versus what had been happening in the past.
Well, hopefully what they have now will just stay at 12, okay? Teams won't get all upset with the top. It should have been the top 15, okay? I think I think what happened, they had to change it. Right. Now, did they need to go, should they went to 8 instead of 12? I mean, I don't know. Could they go to 6 instead of 12? I don't know. But the thing, what was happening is you were getting the same top 4 teams every year, just about. Mm-hmm. And nobody else was getting the opportunity. Even though these bowls they were playing in, they were making a ton of money, but they weren't considered the championship bowls. It was the top 4 teams, and that was it. But now I think you're going to see some upsets with the top 12. It's hard to say who could win. Right off the bat, it should either be the championship game should be Texas and Oregon. Okay, that's who it should be. I don't think Ohio State's going to be there. I don't think Alabama's going to be there. So it should be Texas or Oregon. Yeah, but you don't know with a 12-team matchup. You don't even know who's going to get out of the first round.
Yeah, that's true. You don't know who's going to get out of the first round. And I was projecting yesterday, just because I know how college sports and sports in general works, that I had a sneaky suspicion that Alabama, even though they had several big losses on their schedule, that they would find a way to get in the top 11 in the CFP rankings. But that doesn't mean that they'll be in the final 12 and everything. Right. Because right now they're saying that they're in the projected field. And I just think because of the kind of pulling power that they have in terms of viewers and everything, that they're going to find a way to get Alabama in, and I won't be surprised if they don't find a way to get Clemson in, because both of those have tremendous pulling power. So even
Clemson is not going to get in. Now, the one thing I don't think is fair, they got to figure this. They still got to work this thing out, because it could be Auburn, Alabama, and Georgia,
right,
in the top 12, and they're all SEC schools. I think it should only be the championship team and spread the wealth around. Right. Okay? I don't think you need to have 3 teams representing one conference. But that's how it could end up this year, 3 teams representing one conference.
Yeah. And could be what happens and everything. Apparently, the Lakers lost to Minnesota in the lowest scoring game of the LeBron era, so he did not apparently they're saying that his jumper is off. He's definitely, getting up in age like we all do at some point or another. So maybe he doesn't have that same.
Well, he doesn't. I mean, they had played Sunday night. They played Utah, okay, and they only won that game by 1 point on Sunday night. Then to turn around and come back and play last night, he cannot do that no more. So the coach was speaking out both sides of his mouth today. Mm-hmm. He's saying that, hey, look, we got to figure out a way and to work with LeBron. He might not be able to play back-to-back games. But then if he decides that's what he wants to do, then we got to figure out how to get it done. Okay, you either going to play the man, not play him back-to-back games, pick and choose, or you're going to just measure his time. And, I tell you, I love LeBron. I think he's, outside of Michael Jordan and a number of other players, for his time, he's probably one of the best basketball players that have been around. But this is the thing. It's time for him to go. Okay? I don't care how many weights you lift, how many pounds you can lift. He is not the 18-year-old LeBron James.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he's got a good body. He's in shape. I remember back months ago, somebody had did a meme of him, how he would look at 65 years old, getting ready to play with one of his grandboys. He wants to go as long as he can. And I can see him, but sooner or later, the team's got to say, LeBron, we can't use you no more.
Is Bronny ever going to be as good as his daddy? Because that's what I heard.
Bron ain't playing but one contract, and that's the contract he on now. And that's going to be it. And I think I'll be honest, I think Bronny doesn't have confidence after having that heart attack, okay?
Right.
And I think he's scared to push himself. Something is mentally he's not there yet. Okay? Mentally he's not there yet, and that's a shame. But his other son, now he ain't nothing but the truth. The other son is going to do well.
So the other son will do well in the NBA, but for Bronny, it's going to be a one-and-done contract?
Now, unless Bronny can get that mental block away, moved out of his life, he's not going to be the man. And I blame LeBron for a lot of that, because LeBron wanted to make sure he get to play with one of his sons and all this kind of stuff. And who knows, LeBron might try to stick around and play with the other son or play against him, But I really think, now is the time you got to say, hey, look, James, we're going to play you, but this is how we're going to do it.
Yeah, well, apparently, speaking of people that are doing well in music, I'm seeing in one of the entertainment stories that Kendrick Lamar, and a lot of people are fans of his, will be getting very familiar with NFL stadiums in 2025, because he's going to be the scheduled Super Bowl halftime show in February, and then he's planning to launch a spring tour that will blaze a trail across North America through some of its largest venues, including Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte on Saturday, May 3rd. So it looks like there's going to be a lot going on, because that's also that's the same weekend as the Love and Life Music Festival, which in year 2 again should be expecting roughly 300,000 festival goers on the opposite side of Uptown that Saturday night alone. So it's going to be a very busy May there in Charlotte, with a lot of music lovers checking out 2 separate festivals. But they're saying that he's going to open with a set by SCA, the Grammy-winning R&B singer who just last week dropped a single featuring Lamar Luther that is already a hit. So looks like they'll be coming down this way. And there's even, you got to love this, tickets for their May show on Bank of America go on sale for the general public at 10 a.m. this Friday on the Ticketmaster website. But there's an exclusive Cash App Visa card pre-sale that begins Wednesday at 10 p.m. So that'll be 10 a.m. So even Cash App is getting into the game by having an exclusive Visa sale that you can buy your tickets using your Cash App if you want to get the tickets on Wednesday versus now. I'm thinking those tickets, like a lot of tickets. I don't know, last time you went to a concert, I've gone to a couple of plays. I think I maybe went to one concert over at the DPAC here, and that was because they were comp to me. But I know for a fact that a lot of tickets are very high price, whether it's R&B, whether it's rock and roll, or whether it's jazz or whatever. So, by the way, this concert is going to feature, I said Charlotte on May 3rd, but it's also going to feature the U.S. Bank Stadium in Minneapolis, NRG in Houston, the Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia in May. I'm trying to see if they're coming up your way. It looks like Philadelphia is the closest to
June.
your.
No, he'd be here. He'd be here in June.
Oh, it says June. That's actually closing it out at the Northwest Stadium. So it's closing it out
Yeah.
in DC on June 18th
Yeah.
and everything.
Yeah. But these guys are making money, man. People still willing to pay for those tickets, man. I tell you.
Speaking of paying for tickets, my brother is not a fan of this. I know you've had some people on the shows, on a couple of shows, talking about it and everything, and I think that they think it's taking advantage of the players, both my brother as well as one of my cousins and everything. But what's your take on NIL, and do you think that it is fair to the athletes? Because I do know that was one of our family discussions doing Thanksgiving, because some of my family members are like not feeling the NIL and feeling that it is in some way taking advantage of the young men.
Now, I've always been a proponent for years of paying players on the college level because, after James Winston got in all that trouble down in Florida, stealing crab legs and all that kind of stuff, even before then, I said, these guys got to have a little pocket change, okay? Right. But my pocket change was maybe like $300-$400 a month to each player.
Right.
Now, you take that money, if you run through $300-$400 a month, that's on you during the season if you do that, okay? But, I was looking at how much money these coaches make, even on the basketball level. Some of these coaches are making $5, $6, $7 million a year. But you got the players out there playing for free.
Well, even some of the garbage players, because I think that's what my brother Malik was bringing up, with some of the garbage players that made some killer money off of their NIL deals. I mean, they didn't really make that much didn't have that much success outside of their college days and everything, but they were making some serious money, and they still got some serious money, because even some of the Carolina players that never made it to the NBA and did all right.
They're making too much. I mean, it's done dipped down into high school sports. Right. And it's out of control. It's no control on it. So it's going to take, I hate to say it, it's going to take the government to try to put some controls on it and put some parameters on it, because the NCAA is not going to put no parameters around it, okay? I mean, Deion's son has a valuation of a little over $5 million.
Mm-hmm.
Hunter has a valuation of about $3.5 million. Saunders went out and bought one of the offensive linemen, a Maybach, $200,000 car. That's how much money he's getting on NIL.
Well,
but it's not fair to the other. See, you're still not being fair to the players, because you only got a select few players that are getting money. Okay. What about the rest of the players? That's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see a little stipend given, about $300-$400 a month, to help these guys out.
To everybody. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Along those same lines, one of the other things we talked about during the holidays when we were talking about sports and everything, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, is, Deion could possibly win Coach of the Year and everything, but even my brother and others were saying, didn't he say that he was going to stay at Jackson State because he wanted to bring awareness to the HBCUs? And a couple of other folks that are doing that as well, and then he jumped to one of the PWIs at Colorado, where he's at. I think it's Colorado State, or maybe just Colorado and everything. But that being said and everything, what is your take on Deion, and did he kind of sell the HBCUs down the road?
Well, I think it was a little of both. I mean, everybody wants to grow in their profession, okay? So you can't really knock the man for wanting to grow in his profession, okay? Opportunity came along. I think he's getting about $5 million a year. The guy didn't even know, the athletic director didn't even know how he was going to pay Deion, but Deion has brought people back into the seats. He even gets a certain percentage of the money from the seats, okay?
Wow.
Jackson State I think he did do him wrong. It's like I'm talking on both sides of my mouth, but I think too he did hurt Jackson because what happened was when he left Jackson State, he took players with him.
Including some of his family members.
Yeah. Now Jackson State is playing in the SWAC championship game this week, so they must have weathered the storm, and got through it. But I think he thought about, hey, look, this is an opportunity for me. I think I've done all I can in Jackson State. Because see, we whooped them last year, North Carolina Central. We beat them in the championship game last year.
Yep.
But he took players with him. Now, is he going to be loyal to Colorado? No. Because if an opportunity comes along where he can go to NFL and maybe coach his son, he's going to be right there.
Yep. I can see him doing that.
And that's not fair to some of these recruits that are coming to Colorado because they come in there because they want to play on Dion.
They want to play primetime ball and everything. I was going to go back to politics just really quickly. Raven unfortunately didn't make it, but
Raven said she's going to come on next week because she said she got stuck in traffic.
Yeah, and I figured it was something like that she got stuck in traffic, so we'll have her on next week and everything. But just really quickly along the lines of politics, the Republicans are upset, and they will be staying upset because Biden pardoned his son and everything. So will they be trying to re-prosecute him? Because I don't know how pardons work and everything.
Well,
or is he off the grid now totally? And what's going to go on with Hunter since Biden?
This is their plan, which I think is stupid. And then, like I said, again, they stuck on stupid because they want to rehash old things. They don't want to work and try to move this country forward. Now, I think Jim Jordan said he's going to bring him up before his committee. Mm-hmm. And this is what they're trying to do, trying to prove. Now, they're still trying to go after Biden because they swear Biden made money off of Ukraine with his son. Okay. Now, what they're going to do, they're going to bring me before this committee. They know he's going to plead the fifth.
Mm-hmm.
So then, when after it's all over with, they're going to say, well, Biden must have done something because his son is pleading the fifth. Okay? That's the kind of stuff they want to play, the games they want to play. But I hope he get up there, and I don't want him to lie, but I would just give them something so they won't be able to use that against me. So they're saying if he comes before them and all he says, I plead the fifth, then that shows that Biden did do something with Ukraine and made some money off of Ukraine.
Well, that's the game they're going to play.
Yeah.
Speaking of games that people are playing, I've also heard speculation, not so much a pardon, but even on this network, folks have guessed Kamala's future, and some people are saying that she should go into the Supreme Court because there might be some liberal Supreme Court justices that will step down and everything. I've also heard people speculating about her being governor of California, and there's even speculation. Now, this is a wild shot of because even some folks on this network have floated this idea that for the last 4 to 5 weeks that Biden steps down and appoints Kamala the president for a month and everything. So what do you think, as one that follows the D.C. politics and Maryland politics, should Kamala Harris do since she took this defeat and everything last month and everything? So what would you have Kamala Harris do in the next month or two?
Well, I would just relax, really, because Biden is not going to give up his last 47 days, okay?
Right.
So we can hang that one up now. I mean, even some Republicans, because they thought that Biden wasn't doing too well, even suggested that she be put in place to be president for the last month or so. And I blame the Democrats for that fiasco because when the campaign season started, they should have asked Biden to step down during the primary time, but everybody thought that he was going to be able to get through it. And you can definitely tell he has really slowed down a lot, okay? Because being president of the United States is no easy job. If I was Kamala, I would look forward to being, try going for governor, I mean, I think she'll make a good governor, but it's going to be hard for her to come back to run for president because I think the next time around, it's going to be an open primary season. There's going to be a lot of people out there gunning for, and everybody's going to want to position themselves, so it's going to be tough for her to come back and repeat. and I don't think that nobody's going to give it to her. And then until you look at this country, with all its ills and problems it has, white male Americans are not ready for a female.
Right. But you said they're not ready for a female. The other speculation, and I heard somebody even on our network joke that maybe she should go to her original job, and I think that that's kind of insulting, kind of what Liberty Twitcher thought we were doing earlier and everything. But I heard some people say that, because there's been speculation that AOC might run for president in 2028, and I heard some people say, even on this network, now she should go back to bartending and everything. But she did look like she was trying to become more of a centrist and everything. So and even Amy, I can never pronounce her last name, but even she from Minnesota is looking at leadership. So maybe she will run again for president. So do you see any women out there that have a shot at least building a decent sized base and having
this country, aside from all other countries around the world who have elected women, is not going to elect a woman. They're not. Okay? I don't know when. If Mexico can elect a woman, then they should be able to elect a woman. So I don't know what the problem is. They just people, like I said again, white males do not want a woman running the country.
Right.
And so until we get past that, it's going to be hard. Now, she could have won. She came pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
But in a race like this, it's not close. You got to have that one vote over. And I think what happened was a lot of young people, Democrats thought that young people voting for the first time, they could swing them over and they would vote for Kamala. And that didn't happen. You had a lot of, and the polls show that the age group between 18 and 35 of Latino males and blacks males voted for Trump.
Wow.
They said they could have swung things different, even without the Palestinians that didn't vote for her in Michigan. If the black males had voted for her instead of voting for Trump, she would have won Michigan and probably most of the other swing states, even with Pennsylvania.
Well, one of the things that people have been talking about a lot lately, and I don't know your thoughts, we actually talked about this, I think, on the show before you and everything, is this notion of the black males that were going for Trump. He had one of the highest rates, and I mean, it wasn't a big push, but
it wasn't that big. He only got 22% of the black vote this time,
right?
So
but that's more than it had been in the past, because I think that's what some of the Republicans are arguing, is that he had a boost in membership. And even if you go to some barbershops, there were some brothers that were talking about this notion of he signed that check because it has his name on it the last time, and some of the gains. I mean, there was even some people that were saying, and I'm not sure I agree with them, that there was a gain in a number of folks in the support of the HBCUs and all along those lines. So what's your take on this? Because you've got a lot of folks that have had these different notions.
The HBCUs never really got the money that they were supposed to get. On paper, they were supposed to get X amount of dollars, but they never got it because he really never push it to get it. I mean, Omarosa was there helping them push it, but they never got the money like they said they will get the money in the amounts they were going to get. Okay, I saw an article today. I haven't read it, that black conservatives and young black men need to realize they got hoodwinked by Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, even here on this network, we've had some people that have said that white women hurt themselves because they definitely were going against themselves in voting against their own interests. And we do know that a lot of times people can vote against their own interests. And I've heard a couple of people, including on this network, I think Dr. Anthony has brought this up, that that sisters are not going to be Russian.
No, they said they're not. They're not coming to the cookout. They said they already said, because they're supposed to have a women's march the weekend before the inauguration. They said they're not coming.
Yeah.
Count them out, because like I said, so many promises were made and somebody took the ball or pulled the rug from out under us at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, like somebody said, you better watch these Republicans because, and this is another show we're gonna have to do. I mean, Walmart is the largest employer in the country, in the world, probably, and they got rid of all their DEI programs.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, because of one person. I can't think of the guy's name right now. One conservative, going to. So, one of the things I'm gonna close with this. One of the things that we have to do is we have to go back to the old civil rights movement, learn from what they did in the old civil rights movement, and start doing some of these things and flip the script on Walmart first.
Right.
Remember, Walmart's customer base is predominantly black.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And we could have a profound effect. But see, then the thing you have, how do you corral enough people to understand? Go to Target, go to grocery store, go to CVS. I don't care, but don't go to Walmart. How do you get them to see past there? Because Walmart does have some good prices there, okay?
Right.
They do take care of it in the pricing area, but how do you motivate people to say, let's leave Walmart for a while to let them feel the pain? And that's where the sticky part is, because some people are going to be like, well, this ain't 1950s and 60s. This is 2024, 25. But sometimes you got to go back and do the old things, because they came after DEI. They working hard to suppress our vote. I can see them coming. They already, I can see them coming back and throwing out the Voting Rights Act or not renewing it, and say, well, we're all one country, we're all one people, we all have the right to vote. So that's how it is, man.
That's how it is. But we've had a interesting and full show. I think we got a few more minutes. While I'm getting to set up another show and everything, you got about another 8 minutes. So I'm going to toss it to you on this one question, and maybe you can end on this thought and everything as I pounce off and everything. But Urban Sentinel is a major magazine. So what you got coming up in 2025? What can we look for in Urban Sentinel, and how can folks get a copy of the Urban Sentinel, and what should we be looking for in the January 25 issue? Maybe go have a whole report on the Project 2025.
Yeah, what I'm trying to do, I'm coming and not doing a December one. It is, because it is December now. The one thing I'm going to try to do be more categorized next year with what we come up with and what we do. But for the month of January, we're coming out with a group of two brothers out of Atlanta that are directors. They self-funding, doing their own thing with movies and stuff. And they happen to be into making horror movies. Okay. So they're going to come. They're going to be on the cover along with some other stories. I think in February, we're doing some stuff on some authors and stuff. Some great black authors here in the country now. So we're kind of moving along at a slow pace, but just trying to build that base, man. Just trying to build that base and everything, So, and that's what we do, So,
yeah, that makes sense. That's what you do, and you do a great job of it, and an amazing job, and everything. So you said next week we'll have on this show.
We have Raven
talking about health and what's going on in that health of the notion, and even how people can handle the holidays. We know the holidays can be very stressful for people when it's coming down to what's going on. And
her new book also. She got a new book coming out on the 12th. That's why I was hoping she was going to be on tonight so we could promote her book.
Okay, what's the book called?
Her book. Let me see. Let me bring it up real quick.
Yeah.
Now Raven. Now she got to be special now with her title and stuff.
Oh yeah, it's Raven, so she got to be different.
Yeah. Let me find the title. You're gonna be when I give you this title, you're gonna be like, what?
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Her title of her new book is "Fuck Them, Heal You."
I know that's right. That's what you got to do. Okay. Sometimes you got to F the other person.
Remove every obstacle to your well-being. That's her new book. So and look, Raven gonna come out something different because she marches to a different beat. and everything. You know, so that's
Right.
why I say I'm really looking forward to having her tonight, so we could really push her book tonight. But we'll push it next week. It
We'll
comes out.
push it next week. It was a
Yeah.
great show
But the
and
12th,
amazing.
wait, the 12th is next week. I keep thinking the 12th is this week. So we will have a cup. We'll be able to push it for next Tuesday night.
Yeah, we'll push it next Tuesday because the
Yeah.
12th will be next Thursday.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, it's another
Yes.
great show. We enjoyed the conversation. We're ready to get
Hey,
on out.
always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. So okay, America, keep your heads high. We're gonna get through. We're gonna get through. Get a little rough, but we're gonna get through, you know. But we got to work together to make a difference, okay? And so I need everyone to figure this thing out, you know, and let's go after what, you know, let's keep our communities together and let's work with the young people and get them to realize and know that, hey, we have to change the way we do business and how we come to the table, okay? So this is Reginald Kearney with Urban Sentinel Live, your host, also the publisher of Urban Sentinel Magazine, saying good night to you. We'll see you next Tuesday night with Raven Thistle, and we'll be talking about grief and talking about her new book that she's got coming out. So take care, everyone. Have a good weekend, a good weekend, and be safe. Take care now.